Welcome back to the Pioneers Sideline. It's one of my favorite segments here, the Courthouse Case of the Week. We got our panel here of Zach Aaron, Kyle Anthony, and Kelsey Metzger. Pens, mid-season. We got 24 games into this 48-game season. So you know what that means in college. That means midterm. So what's your midterm grade on the Penguins? Let's start here with Zach.
All right, it kills me to say this being a Flyers fan, but I'm going to have to go with an A. I mean, I haven't seen many problems with this team. I mean, they're third place in the East right now, but currently they're 2 points out of first place, Montreal, 1 point out of second place. Sidney Crosby currently has the most points in the NHL. And in third place, you have Chris Kunitz. That's first and third place. And in 11th place, you have James Neal. That's three players in the top 15, excuse me. And Marc-Andre Fleury, he's just being Marc-Andre Fleury. He's having another great season, averaging 2.71 goals per game. Not too good, but not too bad. Definitely not his best season. But you have the offense there to back it up. And he has the most wins in the NHL with 12, so it has to be an A.
You see there, definitely the offense has really been there for the Penguins this year. Chris Kunitz, that trade with Anaheim is looking like a real steal now, but Kyle, what do you think at the midterm right here?
Even though they're doing really good this season, I only want to give them a B. I mean, they've had lapses on defense. I mean, they're giving up almost 3 goals a game. I mean, so they only have a goal differential between their scoring and what they're giving up. Their penalty kill, it's 22nd in the league. And we're used to seeing them at top 5, and they're 79%. I mean, their defense has showed lots of lapses this season. Chris Letang's been awful this season. I mean, a lot of scoring, but also letting up a lot of goals. I mean, then the third and fourth line, non-existent.
Okay, Kyle, you're not too impressed with the Penguins so far this season. Now let's finish up. Kelsey, what do you have to say this year?
All right, guys. Well, they're not as good as that A that Zach gave them, but they're better than the B. So I'm giving them a B+ for the season this far. And you think of it this way. The Pens are able to score, and they've proved that. They can put up 5-6 points per game, which is a lot. However, what's bringing them down to a B+ in my mind is their defense. They're not able to defend, and it's really killing them. They're letting teams hang around, and that's just not going to do it down the line, and that's why they are not that A team yet.
Well, I think that also comes down to the goaltending. I mean, normally the Penguins expect a top 5 goalie. I go back to the 2.71 goals. It's not great, but it's not bad. But right now, Fleury ranks 21st in the league in goals allowed, first in the league in wins, but 2.71 goals isn't that good. But I don't think you can blame the defense when, for the past few years, they've depended on an all-star goalie.
Wait a minute. I think we can totally blame the defense. I mean, Brooks Orpik and Chris Letang have been awful as a pair. Paul Martin, I mean, he's been the best defenseman this year after he had a collapse last year. I mean, Simone Dupré is getting benched every other game for Robert Bertuzzo, who's been awful. I mean, the defense is just doing nothing. So, I mean, the offense has done awful back-checking, especially when their best back-checker, Evgeny Malkin, has missed a bunch of games with a shoulder injury and a concussion. So, I mean, their defense has caused their goaltending to be as bad. And Fleury, he's not always that consistent with his head injuries.
Exactly. Their defense is ranked 23rd, or there's 23 teams better than them in goaltending, and it's just not cutting it. That's why that team cannot deserve an A in their midseason grade in my mind. I mean, yeah, they can put up the points, but in some games we're up 4-1. And what did they do? They let the other team come back and tie it. They won in overtime, but that is because of their offense, which boost their grade higher than just your average B.
Well, I mean, on their offense, they've only really had 2 lines produced. I mean, the third and fourth line, non-existent. I mean, they've had no points from those lines. I mean, they've tried to put those guys on higher lines, and they haven't did anything. So, I mean, those 2 lines really haven't helped the first 2 lines out at all.
All right, but going back to the goalies, I hate to take it back to the goalies, but the only problem I could see is the Penguins' dependence on Thomas Vokoun. They've been starting Vokoun in some really important games. I was in attendance for the first Penguins-Flyers games at Consol Energy Center. They started Thomas Vokoun. He made the difference in the game. He let up a lot of short, stupid goals. And on the one goal where pretty much every player on the ice was in the net, the only player not in the crease was Thomas Vokoun. And he just hasn't been showing up. I don't understand why they keep putting him in.
And that's going to do it. We're going to end it there. Argument. In this situation, I think I would agree with Kyle. The defense has been a factor. But I have to agree with Zach, too, because a goalie, he's getting the big set that matters and wins. And you know what? It's either you win or you lose. You don't half win. You don't half lose. But the Penguins, we all know the defense is going to need to be fixed. But that's going to do it here for the Pioneers Sideline. Join us next week. Same Pioneer time, same Pioneer channel, same Pioneer sideline.